Okay, today is the 29th. We are, stop. I can find the area and perimeter of 2D shapes. So what does two-dimensional mean?
It's got no depth.
So, two-dimensional is flat. Remember flat, Stanley?
Yeah.
And three-dimensional is things that have a depth. So the perimeter of a shape is the distance around the shape or the sum of the lengths of all the sides. So when I think about perimeter, I think about fence, because fence goes around something, and sum means addition. The area of a shape is the amount of space inside the shape. So I think about carpet, and this is multiplication. So in 5th and 6th grade, you started doing basic shapes. We're going to focus more on the idea of compound shapes. So you break the polygon into smaller shapes that you know the formulas for. This is an important thing. You have to be able to find all the sides for the formula. Once you have all the formulas, you calculate the area of each shape. And then when you're done, you add or subtract to get your new area. So the formulas that are given are ones that you've seen for a long time. Area for a rectangle is length times height, length times width, base times height. There's all kinds. Trapezium, what's the word that you grew up hearing that called? A trapezoid. So we call it trapezoids. The English call it trapeziums, which is where we stole our curriculum from. And when we talk about a trapezium, it's got four sides, but only one side is parallel. So when we're talking about adding the sides, we're adding the parallel sides. Height is always perpendicular. What does perpendicular mean?
Intersecting.
No.
Means that they're equal on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Perpendicular means that it forms a right angle. That's special because I don't like this intersects, but it doesn't form a right angle. So my height needs to be perpendicular. 60-ish. All right, so this is a kite. For kites, we use the diagonals, the ones that are inside the shape, and we take half of that. You probably didn't do a lot of kites when you were in middle school. If we did regular geometry, you would learn all about the different families of shapes. And a parallelogram is the overall or the parent shape for many other shapes. A rectangle is actually a parallelogram. What makes a rectangle different than a parallelogram? When you look at it, what's different about it?
It doesn't have parallel sides.
These sides are parallel. And these sides are parallel. So the definition of a parallelogram is two sets of parallel sides. Oops, this is supposed to be one. The difference is that a rectangle has four right angles. A square is an even more special parallelogram because it has two sets of parallel sides, four right angles, and all the sides are the same. So the formula for the area of a rectangle and the area of a parallelogram can be the same. So it's just base times height. Again, where the height is perpendicular to the shape. So we're going to use this measurement and this measurement to find our area. For a triangle, we need the base and the height. Same thing, the height needs to be at a right angle. So if your height is, if this is the side that's given to you, that isn't a number that you can use. Check with the person sitting next to you. Make sure that they have all of the words, especially the definitions and how to find them. The formulas, you will not have access to on a test. You are expected to understand how to find the area of basic shapes without the formula being given. So make sure that you understand and can do that without the formula being given. All right, turn page over. Okay. So to start with, we're just going to find the area of the shape. What shape is this?
Parallelogram.
It's a parallelogram. Hope I spelled that right. A parallelogram is area's base times the height.
16.2.
So my base is right here, and the height is this number because of the square root. The square.
16.2.
So this is 5.4 times 3, and it is 16.2 centimeters square. If you don't include the units, especially on a test, you will not receive full points. The units are important. The units tell me that we're talking about covering a space inside, where if you put, so I can write that number 3 different ways and have 3 different measurements. All right, 16.2 centimeters is perimeter. What is perimeter? The fence or around. What is centimeters squared? That's area. That's like we're going to carpet this shape. Centimeters cubed is volume. What is volume?
Something inside a three-dimensional object.
Something it'll hold. It's how much space it'll hold. So if you're not careful about your units, then they can tell the person who's reading your answers different things. All right. So all it asked us for that one was to find the area. For number 2, we have to find the area and the perimeter. I'm going to find the perimeter first, just because there's really only one way to do that. So the perimeter equals 10 plus 2 plus 6 plus, I don't have a measurement. Why is it 7, Blair?
9 minus 2.
Because this is 9 minus 2. And then what's this? Because this is 10 minus 6. So we have to add those all up. 12, 18, 25, 29, 38. Centimeters. Okay. So to find the area, do you want to add or subtract? We're going to do whatever you pick for this one. We're doing the opposite for the next one. So do you want to add or subtract for this one? Subtract. So if we're going to subtract, I have a sub 1 minus area of 2, and that's going to give me my total area. So when I see this big shape right here. And the dimensions for this big shape are 9 times 10. So that's going to give me 90 centimeters squared for the big one. So for the second shape, I see this smaller rectangle that I'm going to subtract out. So this is 6 times 7, which is 42 centimeters squared. So this is 48 centimeters squared. And that's my total area.
Can you use both, or do you have to use one?
You have to use them together. What do you mean both?
Do we have to use addition, or do we have to use subtraction?
Either one.
Okay, cool.
Either one. That's why because I did an addition last period. So the question was, can you use addition or subtraction? It's whichever one you can see to find the right answer. So when we look at the second shape, I said we were going to do addition because we already did that one. So then we're going to break this right here so that I have 1, 2, 3 shapes. So I have the area of 1 plus the area of 2 plus the area of 3 is my total area. So for number 1, my dimensions are 4 times 4. And for number 2, they are the same dimensions. Number 3, I have to figure out. So what is this dimension?
4.
And you got that by doing what? So this is half, so I just took half of 8. So this is 4 times, and what's this dimension? This is 4 plus 4 plus 4, right? 1, 2, 3. So this is 12. So this is 48 and 32, 80. So this is 80 centimeters squared for the entire area. I could have just done a big rectangle and subtracted that one out, and that would have given me the same thing. For the perimeter, I have 12 plus 8 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4s plus 8. So that's 20, and 20 is 40, plus 8 is 48 centimeters. Again, not squared. I can't stress enough. If you put 48 centimeters squared on the test, you will lose partial. You will not get full credit because it's not correct. It's not squared. It's a perimeter area and not a perimeter measurement and not an area measurement. So make sure that you can do that. All right, on your problems, I don't have a copy of that. On your assignment, make sure that you can identify all the pieces as you separate and